I'll just wait for your cue on starting. Hi everybody, welcome to our very first Design Inside Lunch with the Designer Q&A session. I'd like to thank you for taking time out of your lunch to learn a little bit about some of my ideas for design. And we have a number of questions from people coming in, so I'll talk to you about those. All right, so first question we have is from Jen from Logan Square. She asks, how can I decorate with the color of the year? Well, right now, there's some very interesting trends in colors. We're sort of departing from the gray of times past, and people are looking for something warm. I think they're trying to get charm and coziness back into their homes. We're finding that even with room layouts. So the open floor plan, that's not even on trend anymore. So people are looking for smaller, more intimate spaces, and they're looking for like more intimate, warm colors. So you find that with Benjamin Moore's color of the year, it's called Shadow. And it's this really dark, deep violet color. And it could be a challenge to work with. So some spaces I think where it would really shine would be a powder room or a small space. And with a color that dark, you really have to think about what you would pair it with. So some of the colors that I think would look really stunning with this shadow color would be a soft blush pink, very light pink. And then a taupe would look stunning too. Now there are other colors of the year coming from different manufacturers and color specialists. So Pantone has a color called Greenery, and it's sort of this apple green color. And again, it's this jewel tone. It has some vibrancy in it that we haven't seen in the colors of the years before. It is a jewel tone. It has some little pump to it. And that color I would not pair with shadow. It would sort of look like Barney, but it's an interesting color. Green is really hot right now. Furniture is just stunning in this color. And then this other color I'm seeing is called Honey Glow, and it's sort of this marigold color. So it brings in the warmth that people are looking for. It's like this burst of sunshine. So there are a lot of interesting color trends going out. Mostly it has to do with people longing for some warmth in their space. And I think we're going to continue to see that. I don't foresee us needing to go into the beiges. People aren't looking for that in their spaces, but they are looking for some more complicated grays. Okay. Another question we have is from Dave of Wilmette. Are there rules for color placement? And the answer is yes. There are absolutely rules that we follow here at Design Inside for color placement. One of my big ones is to think about architectural masses. So if you have this big, bold wall, make it a big, bold color. All right. Also, I hate it when people change colors on outside corners. So what happens when you have two different colors on outside corners is there's like this visual tension that people see, and your eye will immediately look at it, and it's really, really disruptive. So as a rule, I do not change colors on outside corners. Now if you have to do it, try and make your colors a little calmer so that visual tension I'm talking about, so you don't see that as much. All right? But main rules are to think about architectural masses, think about planes within a house. So if there's a wall and then a wall meets up on the same line, those should be the same color. All right? Oh yeah, and don't be afraid to have two different colors in a hallway. It adds some drama, and it always scares clients when I'll suggest that, but that's what I recommend. If you have a doorway, so follow the left-hand sided color because we're Western thinkers, so it's as though we read. So go from left to right with your color placement. Oh, here's a good one. This one's from Beth in Bucktown. She says, my contractor wants to use flat paint everywhere. Help! Yeah, I get that a lot. I think contractors like to use flat paint because it's so easy to touch up, but the colors lose their luster. And I mean, so much of why people hire a designer is to get an interesting color with some depth and some drama. And so what I tend to do is it depends on the space, but in a bathroom, I like to use like a satin sheen. You need the satin because it helps with protecting the walls from water. So I like to do a satin, but now for other spaces, I do eggshell. That gives it the luster and the deep color that we're really looking for when we select a paint color. Now I break some rules here, and in closets I actually do a semi-gloss, which will make people's heads explode when they know that. But the reason I do it is that a closet, you're kind of hard on a closet, and I want to make it less likely to get scuffed. So I like to do semi-gloss in closets, and I know it's shiny, but hey man, it's a closet. It's okay. It can be shiny. I think it's more annoying to have your suitcase have a big black mark on the wall than to have some shiny closet. Okay, here's another one. Small space tips and tricks. Here's someone, her name's Jessie, and her room is only 8 feet wide by 8 foot across. So it's kind of a small space. There's some things that you can do in small spaces. So the first thing I recommend is to go big. So that's counterintuitive, go big. So either have like a really massive piece of artwork. So for example, if your wall is 8 feet high, you could have a 5 foot tall piece of art in that space, or a 5 foot tall mirror, something really grand in that space. It needs an anchor point to really draw the eye in. Then my next tip would be to have something about a third of the height of the total room, and that sort of gives the eye a mid-level focal point. So it's like the secondary mid-level focal point, and that can be a chair or some sort of mid-height case piece. But whatever it is, make it interesting. So the profile should have maybe like a break top or some unusual arms. And also it's really cool if it can be an airier piece, depending on the scale. So if it's about like 30 inches wide, it can be airy looking. If it's wider, then we're actually going for a different goal, and that would be to make the space more grounded. And on the topic of grounded spaces, you need horizontal lines in small spaces because it helps take your eye and extend the view of it. So that's a little tip for some small spaces. Also, think about your corners. You can take a piece of furniture and sort of angle it, but don't just have a chair shoved into a corner. Let it have a friend. Give it a little table or something that it can, so you can set a drink on it, different things like that. And I don't know how we're doing on time, but we have another question. It's about a person, her name's Emily, and she wonders what she should spend money on in a space where she has kids and pets. Well, I always recommend that you put some money into your upholstery. The actual fabric really matters when you have dog fur or kids that could spill fluids all over your couch. So trying to get sort of a medium to dark upholstery with a pattern that will hide a multitude of sins that are sure to come to you on your upholstery. Now, when it comes to like coffee tables and side tables, I'd actually opt out of wooden things because dogs can chew on them and kids can take markers. So instead, I find that some metal is a good option there, or even acrylic. That can be really light and airy and make a space feel special. Now, another thing a lot of people bring up is they have small children and they're concerned that their kids will, bang against a coffee table. So a lot of times in those spaces, I try to do an ottoman or something with rounded corners so that it's softer for a kid, and they won't get hurt. So those are some of my ideas. Did we get any questions that came in? Okay, she asks, how do I brighten up my interior office and make it feel like I have some natural light. I already have light green paint, but I have 6 fluorescent tube lights. Yuck, fluorescent lights, that's terrible. Well, one thing that you can do is add a lamp to the space, so that will help give you some dimension in your light quality. Try to get one of those reveal bulbs. I like the natural light of that. And then add a mirror. You can't really do much about the fluorescent lights for the space, sorry about that, but you can sort of mitigate it with a mirror and a lamp. That will help it. And then try to get some sort of accent lighting, like one of those like Himalayan salt lamps. One of those would really add some charm to the space. So those are some of my thoughts on that. Maybe if we have time, I could talk a little bit more about, let's see, maybe I could talk a little bit more about why I don't like flat paint. So circling back on Beth's question. So one of the reasons I don't like flat paint is that it scuffs so easily and the color just doesn't pop. So I really recommend not doing a flat paint. Well, I'm thinking that's all I've got for now, and hopefully you guys learned something. I learned something from this being my first time. This is kind of an unusual experience. And just want to say, if you want to sign up for our newsletter, go to get some more tips and tricks, go to designinside.com/lunch, and you can sign up, and then we'll send you newsletters about every month. And you can see some of our projects and learn a little bit about what keeps us busy here at Design Inside, trying to make the world a better place, one home at a time. All right, well, thank you again. Hope it was fun. It was fun for me. Thanks.